boss. See the topic and what it is that we're talking about, right? Never overlook morals for money. And this is a very good one, man. You get what I'm saying? So here's the deal. Some people will know that, how can I say it to you? That morals is what's more important, but sometimes you have to understand some people, they're willing to compromise their morals if they can receive some form of a compensation. Now you got to understand this, right? It's like the famous saying, money talks, bullshit walks 1,000 miles. So you got to understand that some people, they're willing to stand up for what they believe in, i.e. morals. Then there's some people that are willing to trade in morals for what? Money. So you got to understand that part of that factor, it comes from like a survival desperation aspect. So let's say you're a person who was raised in poverty, or you were raised without guidance or certain life structures or certain lessons that would help guide you through life. That can cause you to have a clouded judgment as to where you look at things in a survival aspect or a desperation aspect instead of looking at from a longevity abundance aspect. So example, right? Let's say you're a person where, I'm not saying like you're suffering, but you're living. But in your mind, it's like you're in hell. You're in survival, right? And you come across people who they may come off as genuine or they're not as desperate. So you look at this situation and see, how can I take advantage of this situation? That's the first mistake. When you come in contact with somebody who can possibly help you or change your situation, understand that desperation is not the main act that you need to run with. Mind you, if you heard me or you listened to me at all, I tell you this right now. It may kind of be like the same, but it's a little bit different, but it still correlates. Never make a decision when you're in a state of desperation, because that decision can turn around and bite you in the ass. How many times have you ever seen somebody do something in a state of, oh, I'm in a state of need right now. I need to do this or I need to do that because the pressure is on. I need things. Example, look at when certain rappers or people in entertainment. Yo, I'm broke right now. Oh, this is the first deal that was offered to me. I'm going to take it. Because why? I'm desperate. And when you're desperate, you have to understand that your judgment is clouded. And that's damn near the next thing to being in a state of what? Survival. Because you being in a state of desperation, you're going to do some things that probably when you get out of that state, if you do, or you're into an abundant state, your thoughts are going to come back to you like, dog, you never had to screw this person over. You never had to rob this person. You never had to take from this person. This is what poverty does to people. This is what survival does to people. It changes their thought process. So when they do certain things, they do it in a short-term aspect without looking at the long-term actions that it might cause or the long-term problems that they might face. So example, you doing something in a state of desperation. Oh, I'm hungry, or I'm in poverty, I don't have much. I'm going to rob from this person. I'm going to take from this person. Then real reality hits. Yo, I rob people. I harm people. These people know my face. Let me tell you something. If people aren't sound or they don't have God in their corner, they can look at that, what you did, and see, oh, that person is still thriving. They're thriving off of what? My wins. You took from me. I can come back and what? Harm you. That's why people have to look over what their shoulders for the rest of their life, because some of the shit that they did to other people. You get what I'm saying? Next thing into that, greed. When greed comes into the fold, there's a lot of things that people are going to lose out on. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Greed, it destroys a lot of people. I'll give you an example into that, right? I like movies. So if you ever heard of the movie Blue Streak, that's the movie with Martin Lawrence. Never seen that movie? Go watch that movie. One of the greatest movies I ever watched as a kid, and it taught me a lot, right? Martin Lawrence was a criminal turned police officer. He became a police officer to retrieve a diamond that him and his homies stole and hid in a building in a heist, right? In that movie of what I talked about, Blue Streak, when I talk about greed, I think the guy's name was Deke. In the first couple minutes of the movie, they all came up with a golden plan. Yo, you're going to go inside. You're going to disarm the security. Martin, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna take the diamonds, you guys are gonna distract the guard, you're gonna go up this, that, and the third and meet me back up on the roof. What happened? They had everything planned away. They had a getaway driver. You had people in the building. You had people on the roof ready to make everything happen, right? Who caused everything to go down the drain? Deke. Because of why? Greed. You know what? Even though I'm in a state of survival, we all came up with this plan. He had all odds to make everything happen to where he could pull off that greed. You guys are inside the building. You guys are going to risk your life to go inside the building and go get that diamond. Once you come back up, I know what? You got the diamond. So now I could what? I could snake you out of what? Greed. So guess what happened? He killed one of his homies that came up on the roof. That homie fell off of the roof, landed on Tully's car, which is played by Dave Chappelle. That triggered police. Tully took flight. Then police sent somebody into the building. Deke was waiting on the roof, thinking, okay, Martin got the diamond. Okay, shit, I'm going to wait for Martin. As soon as Martin got up there, they got into a tussle. He played him. He gave him the wrong bag that didn't have the diamond. Martin got on like one of those ropes, skated across the building, hid the diamond inside the building. That building later turned out to be a police building that they were building for the future. So he turned around his life as a criminal to be a police officer only for a criminal act. But I'm saying this right now when I say greed. Greed can cause an ugly thing out of people. And you have to understand this when it comes to greed. Depending on who the person is or who they're around or who you're in cahoots with, there's no honor amongst thieves. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but look into that. If you're doing something with a bunch of people that's known to be hyenas or wolves or whatever, guess what? There's no putting nothing past them. They'll have greed in their heart. Yo, this isn't enough for everybody. It's enough for probably me. But at the same time, once greed enters into somebody's heart, that's when things start to turn around in a different kind of a manner. Because whatever plans we had before, I can scrap those plans for what? My greed and how I really feel. You get what I'm saying? So understand this. Greed, it can compromise certain things. It can compromise values. It can compromise morals. Because in that state of time, if a person is really in a state of survival or in a state of desperation, they can lean in on their greed and do something that's totally out of the judgment or out of the books of what? Morals and principles. Now, next thing into that, this is a very big one, social influence. A lot of people have this influence on being grimy and doing nefarious things based on the society that we live in. So example, there are some people that mimic behaviors of people that are close to them. There are some people who mimic behaviors of people that they've seen on television. There are some people who mimic behaviors of people that are on social media. So example into that, right? Look at the gangsters. Look at the Al Capones, the Bugsies or whatever you want to call them, right? Look, these guys who were mobsters left the impact on people. How many times have you seen somebody wanted to live like a Al Capone or live like a El Chapo? That's an influence. Yo, what did you do with your time here? Well, I was a drug lord, or I was a mobster, or I was a robber, or I was a killer. And guess what? Those killers left behind some form of a what? Reputation and a trail. Yo, this is what Al Capone did. Al Capone murdered these people. Or this is what this gangster did over here. Or this is what this robber did. Because they have influence, they're able to see what that person left behind. Because you're looking at it from an outside aspect. So example, look at the Al Capones and the El Chapos. You had so much money in this lifestyle, you could do whatever you wanted. Morals aside, you killed people, guess what? It was for what? Your own protection of your estates and everything. There's some things people overlook, the morals and the principles, because you know what? There's benefits that come along with this stuff. Being a gangster, being a hard ass, or being a threat, people are going to be likely to what? Not want to play with me. Especially if I have strength behind me or if I have numbers. These are games that people are willing to play. Example into that, right? Besides social influence. How many times do you see people follow behind their favorite rapper or their favorite artist or their favorite movie star, certain people? Because you have to understand, they're influencers. Some people idolize people, and that's in the Bible. You're not supposed to be doing that. So when you follow behind certain people, doing away with your morals, doing away with certain principles and deeds, guess what? That's like saying you're choosing to swap out your beliefs for somebody else's. And that's probably something you were raised upon. You get what I'm saying? Don't trade your morals for money, bro. Longevity is where it's at, dog. Once you're a person who's known to have your morals intact, you're a respectful individual, you play by the rules, you don't screw people over, you take the long route, guess what? In the end, you got to get what? Respect for that. Because you did something a lot of people weren't trying to do. How many people out here trying to get to the land of milk and honey ASAP before they actually get there? Yo, let me go ahead and see if I can become rich by this age or this, that, and the third. That's what builds the struggle. That's what builds that grit. That's what makes your story that much more powerful and impacting to other people. When they find out what it is that you went through and what you did. You stuck to the code. You stuck to morals. You stuck to principles. You never screwed anybody over to become a millionaire. You never fucked anybody over just to get to the land of milk and honey. Once you did things in a right, upstanding way, what's the reward? Respect. People may not want to tell you or be like, hey, bro, I respect you. But deep down in their heart, they gotta respect you. Because why? You never went and traded your morals for what? Bullshit. You did it on your own and you did it what? The right way. That's why I say all the time, never trade in your morals for money, dog. You want to know what it's like to become solid or remain solid? Never trade in your morals. Never fuck over somebody. You get what I'm saying? Including your friends. Somebody's weaker than you, you got the power to fuck them over, don't do it. That's how you learn how to handle power. That's how you know, yo, that person got some morals, they got some principles. Imagine how much people had the opportunity to damn near or do something screwed up to somebody because they got the power to, but because, you know, I know my power, let me leave that alone. That's respect. That's how bosses carry themselves. You don't use power in an ill-advised way because you got it. You get what I'm saying? So that's something you got to remember into that. As well as that rationalization. You got to understand some people do things and they rationalize their behaviors. Oh, I did this because I don't like this person. Or I did this because this person has more than me. That's choosing to throw away your morals to rationalize how you feel. You know that there's a lot of people who lean on feelings, how I feel. I never liked this person, so I felt like they deserved to be screwed over. Or I don't deal with this person. I don't like the fact that they have what I have, so I feel like it's rational to harm them. There are some people who think like this. And that's what happens when they get the power in their hands. I'm going to use it in a screwed up way and I'm going to fuck you over. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to screw you over. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to you. And guess what? It's rational. It makes sense to me. That's not. And that's going against morals and principles and doing something in a screwed up way. And I'm telling you right now, that's how a lot of people end up getting hurt. Some people get unalive for that type of stuff. Thinking that because, oh, I feel a certain kind of way, I'm going to let you know how I feel. Learn how to keep your emotions in check. Sometimes not learning how to keep your emotions in check can end up costing you or harming you, or even worse, costing you your life. Because there are some people, they do not know how to handle their emotions. So I'm going to rationalize how I feel about you. I'm going to do whatever it is. I'm going to push it to the max how I feel about you in that moment. And whatever comes behind them consequences, God damn it, that's what it is. Even if it means bringing other people in on their bullshit to where they cost them their freedom or their life off of how they felt by doing something in that state of time. Bullshit. You feel me? Last thing, not last thing, but second to last thing, perceived value of money. In many cultures, financial success is highly valued. Example, there's a lot of people who respect people because they have money. I don't want to know how you got your money, but I know that you have money. So I respect you. You know what? Because you got money and you're rich, you can change situations, you can change things. I'm willing to give you the respect and the clout that you probably never really worked hard for. I'm willing to give you the respect because you know what? You have something, you got something I want. And sometimes some people don't sit back and think about it. You're willing to respect somebody because they have money and you don't even know how the fuck they got it. You could be sitting here respecting somebody. Oh, this dude worked hard, this, that, and the third. Did you see him out there working hard to get it? Nope. But you seen him with the money. That's all you know, right? Yep. That's all some people really want to know. Some people don't know if you was out there really robbing, harming, and killing some people for it. Mind you, I tell you this story all the time. I know people who respect some gangsters and some, oh, that dude a thug, he's solid, he this, that, and the third. You didn't know that he screwed over his co-defendant? You didn't know that that man was in Wilton Manor's fucking Batimans and punks just to become a millionaire? Did you know that? No. But you seen him with the money, you chose to what? Respect them. Understand this. Because you see somebody with money doesn't mean that they're worthy of respect. Doesn't mean that they work hard honestly for it. There are some people who inherited their money. There are some people who got lucky with their money. There are some people who work hard for their money. But at the end of the day, whenever you see somebody with their stuff, that's their things. Don't envy them for it. It is what it is. But don't be out here, oh, I respect this person because they got money. You don't know what the fuck they had to do to get it. If you're respecting somebody who, yo, that dude stand on morals, they stand on principles, then that's friggin' different. But stop idolizing and respecting people because they got a friggin' piece of pocket change that you want, my nigga. That's bullshit. Why do you think there's a lot of people with corrupt morals and confused mindsets? Oh, I respect this person. Why? They have money. Do you know how they got it? No. Did you see them in action to how they get their money? No. Why do you respect them? Basically because they have money. That makes no fucking sense. And there are people with this mindset all over. So understand this. If you don't know how a person got their money or their things in life, don't be out there kissing their ass and dick riding them because they got something that you want. That's being fake, dog. Then you find out how people really got their money. Are you going to respect them still? Are you going to still treat them like how you did at first? Chances are not, because the truth came out. There's some people who did some fucked up things to get to where they at in life, dog. There's some people who put life insurance policies on people. Mind you, I told you, how you think my mom got up in life and did certain shit? My mom used to play with voodoo, obia, use that shit, tricked my dad, took my name off of certain shit, stole my inheritance. My mom even had a life insurance policy for over $250,000 to get me lined. And people out there respect my fucking mom. That's why when some people be like, yo, D'Angelo, why you don't talk or why you don't like your mom? My mom did some fucked up things for money, dog. Including sacrificing her morals and wanting to off her own children. For what? Money. Stop respecting people that you don't know how the fuck they got their things, dog. There's some people who do some nasty ass things behind closed doors for their money. Look at the Epstein files that's coming out. Look at all these celebrities. Oh, you're in the Epstein files? Yes! I tell people this shit all the time. Whoever you see at the top and they've been there for so long, you had to do something to what? Stay there. You got to prove your loyalty to us. You're dirty, you're foul. We want to see how foul you are. You prove that loyalty to us, then guess what? You're in with us for life. You out here playing around with little boys and little girls, guess what? You're down with us for life. How the fuck you think Diddy stayed at where he at for so long? Diddy molested Usher, molested Ray J, Bieber, all of these people just to stay in a position of power and people respect that nigga. How did you get your riches? You fucked over your friend, had that nigga off, lined up, and switched royalties and everything from his kids to you and yours. That's nasty, bro. No morals, no principles, dog. Understand who you out here respecting and the things that they do. Some people never really work hard for the shit that they got, bro. Why you think there's some people out here homeless or never made it? Because sometimes in reality, certain things hit them they couldn't really bounce back from. Or my wife stole from me. Or my business partner did this. Or this person crossed me. It broke them that much that that's where they at in life. So sometimes when you see somebody homeless, or you're a bum, that's not truly them that wants to be there. Life broke them to where it left them like that. Then there's some people out here, oh, you got money, man, you work hard. Lies. Shit is the opposite out here. You feel me? Last thing, lack of consequences. If individuals believe they can act without facing repercussions, then they may be more inclined to overlook the moral compass. So example, look at America. I say this all the time. America is for criminals. America puts up with a lot of fuckery from people. Look at the shit that they preach here. A lot of gangsters, a lot of badness, a lot of fuckery, a lot of criminals, a lot of crimes. Look how many criminals out here walk every friggin' day. This is what creates that cognitive dissonance as to where people overlook what's right and just, let me lean into what makes sense for me. I'll drop my morals for some money and this, that, and the third. Bro, you have to understand this. This is not a game, bro. These are people who play these types of games. There are some people who I don't care about anything else. This is what I want. I want to be the person that's in a position of money. I can do certain things. I can change life. You don't know what some people are doing out here. Some people drop their whole ethics or whatever, even if they had it or not, just to become what? A person that I can have and do whatever it is that I want. Just because you see somebody buddy with somebody doesn't mean that they're really friends. Just because somebody smiles with you in your face like that doesn't mean that they really love you or cherish you like that. Some people, man, listen to the song by Fleetwood Mac. Thunder only happens when it's raining. The next line was powerful. Players only love you when they're playing. Meaning, people could tell you, oh, I love you, but that doesn't mean that that's how they feel. You're probably giving them something that they want. Finances, whatever, resources. People are willing to play the game, even if it means dropping their morals to get something it is that they want. So you got to be aware of certain things like that in life. You feel me? Never compromise your morals just for money or cross over certain people just to get to the land of milk and honey, bro. It isn't worth it. With that being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I use them to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. 444 the world, man. Just understand this in life. It's better to have your morals and keep your morals intact. And don't drop your morals just to be a person who, this person respects me or these crowd respect me. What do you think about you and yourself, dog? Just because somebody didn't see you do something fucked up in the time being, you know what you did. You get what I'm saying? You'll know if you were solid or not. You get what I'm saying? Once you play into what's right, as in keeping your morals, keeping your respect, all of that there, you're gonna reap the rewards in the long run. You get what I'm saying? 444 the world, man. Peace.